It's not every day that you see a brand new Lamborghini introduced to the world, but I'm over here at the concept lawn over at Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance, and this right here is the brand new 2025 Lamborghini Temerario. Let's take a first look. So if you guys are familiar with Lamborghini, you'll know that the Huracan is the predecessor to this vehicle. The Huracan has always been kind of the more affordable driver's car for Lamborghini, their entry-level supercar. So the Temerario has some pretty big shoes to fill. And as you can see from the exterior design, it certainly looks instantly recognizable as a Lamborghini. The headlights on the vehicle have this really cool kind of recessed look to them. And they're recessed for a reason because, as you can see, this is actually a functional design element where air kind of passes through this area over here. It kind of creates, again, an air curtain. The headlights, as you can see, are full LED. There's this really interesting hexagonal theme here. Those are the LED daytime running lights. There's also a little pass through there that allows air to cool the radiators for the engine, although the engine does live behind the vehicle. You can see this particular one that I'm showing you here also has kind of an extensive carbon fiber lightweight package. So you can see the front splitter is carbon fiber. This is also actually painted. It's not like a sticker or anything like that on some less expensive cars. There's also some radar sensors there, some cameras, of course. And overall, the car definitely is instantly recognizable as a Lamborghini. I definitely think that, for those of you who are coming from the Huracan, you're going to really appreciate the kind of evolutionary design theme here. Now, I can't pop the hood for you guys, but underneath here, Lamborghini says you have around 4.8 cubic feet or just under 4 cubic feet of cargo space. So it is a relatively usable amount. There's a little bit more that you're going to find behind the front seat area. You can see, looking at the wheels, this is the first time Lamborghini's doing like a carbon fiber wheel, which is part of an option. You can get it with a standard wheel if you want. You can see the brake calipers are 10 piston red painted. These are standard carbon ceramic brakes. Lamborghini says every vehicle over the last 5 years has come standard with carbon ceramic brakes. It's got an all new chassis that's aluminum. Obviously, you can see the carbon fiber kind of extends here on the mirror caps with the actual red line here, which again, this is an actual painted element here. And compared to the old Huracan, this vehicle actually is considerably larger at 185 inches long with a 104.8 inch long wheelbase. This thing is about 5 inches longer than the Huracan. However, it's also around 10 inches shorter versus the Revuelto, which, if you guys know, the Revuelto is their flagship supercar. Now, underneath this area here, you can see it actually does allow you to kind of see the engine. The big story, of course, with the new Temerario is the engine. Instead of the old V10 engine from the Huracan, a 5.2 liter V10, which was naturally aspirated, now we have a 4-liter twin turbocharged direct injection V8 that also has a flat plane crank. It's an all-new engine design. This engine on its own, with its 2 turbos, delivers around 789 horsepower, 538 foot-pounds of torque. It's augmented by 3 electric motors. It also has a 3.8 kilowatt-hour battery pack that kind of feeds those electric motors to deliver up to 907 horsepower. So again, 907 is considerably more versus the old car. You actually will charge the vehicle from here, from over here. This is where you actually plug it in. Although this kind of looks like, there we go. This is actually a European spec model here. So you actually plug in the vehicle from this side over here. Lamborghini says it has a 7 kilowatt onboard charger. You can actually charge the battery in about 30 minutes on a level 2, although you can also charge the battery just from driving the vehicle. The engine will recharge it as well in a few minutes. You can see at the rear of the car, there's also very, very distinctive design elements that kind of make it look like an F1 car. So you can see the hexagonal theme continues here for the LED taillights. There's some functional heat extractors and vents. The exhaust system, you can see, is mounted up high. Actually, I've never seen something mounted up so high, but sadly I won't be able to start the vehicle up to show you guys what it sounds like. Down here you can see there are some functional canards down there to kind of help with redirecting the airflow. I also love this kind of open area there where it almost looks like a very interesting, crazy supercar where you can see the tires back there, and that just kind of makes the car look even more aggressive. The tires themselves, these are a Bridgestone Potenza Sport tire, and it looks like you have a 21-inch wheel at the rear, a 20-inch wheel at the front. Remember, these are a staggered setup. You're going to have big wheels and tires to kind of help put that power down. This vehicle is all-wheel drive. It's got a rear-mounted 8-speed dual-clutch transmission, which is an all-new transmission. Lamborghini says you should be able to get to 60 in this car in 2.7 seconds and reach a top speed of around 213 miles an hour. So again, this car is definitely going to be delivering the kind of performance that allows it to take the torch away from the Huracan. Now moving on to the interior, you can see here's the inside of the brand new Temerario. This one here that we're showing you actually has their lightweight package, so it includes extensive carbon fiber along the door panel, a lot of bespoke switchgear. This again is part of an extra package which helps to lower or reduce the weight of the car by about 55 pounds compared to not getting the carbon fiber package. You can see the seats themselves also have like a carbon fiber structure. The seats are also manually adjustable. You can get an 18-way power seat with heat and ventilation if you guys want the comfort specification. But this model here is designed to be more of the track driver's car. Now I'm going to go ahead and get inside this vehicle and show you guys the rest of this interior. You can see the interior, if you guys have been in their flagship model, the Revuelto, this should be pretty similar to you. Let me go ahead and close the door here. You can see with the lightweight package, you actually get these kind of straps here with some carbon fiber. The switchgear, like I said, is bespoke to this vehicle. Lamborghinis in the past have been criticized for having kind of like Audi switchgear, and this time I definitely don't see that. I love the steering wheel that you're getting here, of course, with the flat bottom design, the exposed carbon fiber with the red accent. You also have your drive mode selector here. There's also some driver assistance tech features. As you can see, there's also a front axle lift system. I do see a couple of Audi switchgear here. Right there is the cruise control stock. That's a little minor one, but everything else that I'm seeing here, from the carbon fiber paddle shifters, which are mounted to the actual column, the exposed carbon fiber here, you have beautiful leather and carbon fiber stitching everywhere in this vehicle. So it kind of, makes it feel like you're driving something extremely special. Now, in terms of the technology, sadly, I don't have the key for the vehicle. I was going to see if I could try to turn it on, but this is the 12.3-inch digital cluster, a gauge cluster here, which has brand new Lamborghini specific graphics. There's also a 9.1-inch screen over here for the passenger side, and then over here in the center you have an 8.4-inch display. So it's interesting, there are 3 screens in this car, but this is actually the smallest screen. This right here is the center screen that controls all your infotainment functions. It includes wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. There's also 2 USB-C charging ports over here. I believe there's also a wireless phone charging pad here, and then you can see more of that bespoke switchgear here with kind of like the toggle style, which I really appreciate. There's kind of like a nice little padded knee area over here. If you guys have longer legs, it kind of helps you kind of rest, give you a place to rest your knees. I also love Lamborghinis also have been doing this for a while, where you kind of lift this up like a fighter jet and then push that button here to start the engine with your foot on the brake. The transmission selector, as you can see, is right here. You kind of pull it back this way to go to drive and reverse, push that P button to go to park. There's also like a little padded area here where you can kind of rest your hand when you're kind of adjusting that. And then over here you can see a little bit more storage. Although it's not really much in terms of covered storage. Again, there's also a little area here behind the seats where you can kind of store a couple of items there. But in terms of cargo, you're going to probably be putting most of it in the front trunk. Lamborghini says you could fit like golf clubs back there, a set of golf clubs. Although I'll have to wait until see that for myself to see if it actually can fit. I don't really particularly love how the carbon fiber here creates like a hard plastic panel, but this is all to save weight. So I personally might consider looking at the comfort specification, because as you can see, these seats, they're manually adjustable. You pull on this to adjust the seat. There's also a little lever right here where you can raise and lower the seats. The seats, I have to say, for a carbon fiber bucket, they are extremely comfortable. Once you're in the seat, the padding feels nice. It also holds you in place snugly as you'd expect it to. And then the other thing I want to talk about is the headroom space, because as you can see, I'm 5'7". There's a ton of headroom. Because this vehicle is so much larger, Lamborghini was able to expand the cabin space. So if you're over 6 feet, Lamborghini says you can actually fit in this vehicle much more comfortably. In terms of visibility, you do have this really long dashboard for the car. And then when you look behind you there in the rear view mirror, you can actually see, the external venting for the engine, of course. That's all going to, remind you you're driving something super special. The glove compartment you can see over here is pretty deep. It goes right into the dash. It's damped and lined with felt, so it offers a nice little covered amount of storage. You have an auto-dimming rearview mirror here. You have some suede Alcantara. That double bubble on the roof also gives you slightly a bump here, so you have a little bit more headroom space. There's also, again, really nice Alcantara and stitching for the actual sun visors. You can see there's the screens managed to turn on over there. But as you can see, ignore that. That's a pre-production glitch there with the screen, but it's kind of like in a demo mode here. So you can kind of see there's the graphics there, more graphics over there, and then there's the screen there. But overall, I have to say, I've actually never driven a Lamborghini. I'm hoping at some point Lamborghini will give me a press car where I can actually drive or go to one of their programs. The closest thing I've driven is an Audi R8, but this car definitely gives you supercar vibes. But remember, the Temerario is designed to be more of their everyday usable, sports car, versus the Revuelto is designed to be more of like a status show car. And you're definitely going to notice that this car, if you've been in the Revuelto, it feels a little bit smaller, a lot smaller actually, because this vehicle is not as wide and is not as long. So obviously getting to see the all-new Temerario in person is a special treat, and as you can also see here on the concept lawn, things are pretty hectic. But in terms of availability and pricing, Lamborghini wasn't quite ready to talk about that just yet. The old Huracan was at least $250,000. I'm guessing this car is probably going to start at just under $300,000 when it eventually comes to the US. They basically said that they're going to be launching it in Europe first, the US next, and China would be last. I'm going to estimate that this car will probably come to America in the later part of 2025. So maybe it'll be a 2026 model year when it eventually shows up. But if you guys are looking to buy something like this, obviously money isn't a problem. So even though Lamborghini made this car more expensive, they made a lot of changes here to kind of warrant that extra expense, especially when you look at the power figures and the fact that this is now a plug-in hybrid. It has over 900 horsepower. It delivers similar performance to the Revuelto. And also keep in mind the Revuelto is their flagship car and it's literally over $600,000. So if Lamborghini can deliver this car for under $300,000, you're essentially getting similar performance for less than half the price. For Redline Reviews here on the concept lawn at Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance, I'm Sofyan Bey.